I'll tell you guys, I had so much fun doing the thumbnail for this video. I literally spent hours looking at cute pictures of elephants. Elephants are just awesome. Just look at that! Okay, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to learn how to master your mind, and this is exactly what this video will give you a framework for, while showing you the most footage of awesome elephants as possible. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Andres, and this is Life Frameworks, where I share with you the tools that you need to kick ass at life. Before we start this video, if you don't know what a framework is, I highly recommend you watching my video in which I explain that concept so that you can make the most out of this video. The link will be below. One of the things that I've struggled the most with in my life, and I'm sure that you have as well, is actually sticking to working towards my goals. There's been multiple occasions in my life in which I set goals for myself, such as getting better shape, read more, achieve certain results at work. And at first, I would start working very diligently on them. But then after a certain period of time, I would stop. And you probably experience the same phenomenon, in which you start really strong, working towards what you want, and then after a little bit of time, that just fades away and you go back to where you started. I really used to struggle with this sticking point some years ago. But then I learned about the elephant and the rider framework, which Jonathan Haidt describes in his book The Happiness Hypothesis, and everything changed. The elephant and the rider framework is a tool for understanding how our mind works. And if we understand it very well, it gives us a system for steadily progressing towards our goals in a more efficient but also more pleasurable manner. In this framework, our mind is conceived as having two parts, an elephant and a rider. The elephant is our conscious mind. It's that part of our brain where all of our emotions and hidden motivations are stored and processed. While the rider is a rational part of our brain. It's the part that can process information logically and make decisions about it. Now, think of a person riding an elephant. The elephant is this giant, really large, really strong beast. And then on top of that, you have a very small person that has like some tools to tell the elephant to go one way or the other. And when the path that the elephant and the rider are going through is really simple and there are not a lot of distractors, the rider can more or less control the elephant. He can tell it go this way, go that way, and the elephant will comply to some degree. But then, if you put a stimulus that the elephant is really interested in, everything will change. So let's assume for the purpose of this metaphor that elephants like donuts, just because I like donuts. So say that you have the elephant and you put a donut right next to the path, and the elephant is supposed to go this way, and then there's a donut here. As soon as the elephant sees the donut, it will start stampeding its way towards the donut. And the rider can try to whip the elephant so it goes the other way, but the elephant is so large that its motivation will overpower the rider and will end up going to the donut and eating it. And this is exactly how our mind works. We believe that our conscious mind is in control and that we're driving in a very coherent and logical way. However, as soon as our unconscious mind gets some sort of stimulus that it's interested in, or doesn't want to do something, or gets something that scares it, it will react in ways that are very unpredictable, and the conscious mind will not be able to make it do what it wants to do. Now, in some cases, if the stimulus is not as strong, the rider can actually successfully maneuver the elephant to get back on track, but that will require a lot of force and frantic movement to move a very large beast that wants to do something else. So, when the rider clashes with the elephant head-on, sometimes he will win and sometimes he will lose. But even in the situations in which the rider wins, he will spend a lot of energy whipping and moving and trying to sway the beast so that it stays on course. It will be very draining, so the rider cannot afford to have many of these clashes with the elephants in a single day. Because it might win the first battles, but by the third or the fifth battle, the elephant will completely overpower him and do whatever it wants to do. This is what happens when you set a goal for yourself and you start working really diligently to get to it, but then after some times you just stop. Your elephant wins over and you don't have control over it and you stop doing the progress that you were doing before. When this happens, we feel really bad with ourselves. Because the popular wisdom says it's just a lack of willpower. Look, you can willpower yourself into doing anything. Say that you want to get in shape. Yeah, you can wake up at 2 a.m. and do 80 million push-ups before the sun rises, and then just eat like water and rice for the rest of the day. And if you can't stick to that, it's because you're weak and you don't have enough willpower. When I followed that school of thought, I constantly felt bad about myself. Because I would set the goals and start working towards them in that way, and then over time, I would stop and I would think, I just don't have enough willpower, I can't do this. But then, when I learned about the elephant and the rider framework, I realized that this was because I was clashing with my elephant every day, all day when I was trying to achieve these goals. So, no wonder that I started strong, but then some days after, I was not able to achieve my goals. I was just spent. All my energy was spent clashing with a part of me that I'm supposed to get along with very well. And when I started to think about that, I realized that the popular wisdom has some merits, especially when you're trying to build toughness and discipline, but a much better strategy to be able to stick to goals for a long period of time without suffering is to avoid direct fights with the elephant as much as possible. And the way that you do that is by letting the elephant fight itself when you're trying to achieve a goal and it wants to deviate from it. So let me give you a real example because this is a very powerful concept. So let's back to my analogy in which the elephant really likes donuts and you're on the path walking and there's a donut. If you're walking in the path and there's a donut, the elephant is going to run towards it. What you can do as a rider that is very rational is in the middle of the night when the elephant is sleeping, you can walk towards that path, get the donut and move it from the side of the road to on top of a hill. So the next day, when the elephant is walking the path and it sees the donut, it'll think much harder about whether it wants to get the donut or not, because now the elephant has to walk uphill for a significant amount of time to get to the object that it wants to get to. So we can avoid fights with the elephant by making the thing that you don't want the elephant to do to be harder than to make the thing that you actually wanted to do. So in this category, you can put a donut uphill, and if you want the elephant to eat carrots, you can put the carrots in a walk that's downhill, and it's really simple, and at the end there's a beautiful view of a beach where there's a lot of really attractive elephants. So let's say that you have the goal of checking your phone way less and reading as much as possible. And after a long day of work, you're finally in your bed, you're relaxing, maybe burning some incense, and all of a sudden, boom! The elephant remembers the last time that you got a like on Instagram and how good that felt, and it starts telling you, check your phone, check your phone, check your phone, check Instagram. And if you're in that mode and the phone is right here, it'd just be so simple to reach for your phone and get it and cave in. And if you didn't do that, you would just be continuously looking at it and holding yourself back from actually using it. It would be a direct fight and you would get really tired and it'd be difficult to pick up a book and read it. Okay, so what do I do to avoid this problem? It's pretty simple. I just take my phone and instead of having it here, I walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 steps. And I just started here, far away from a room. And now, when I'm in my room, relaxing and ready to read, I just keep my Kindle by my side. So now instead of having to fight the elephant, when the elephant turns on the go and check Instagram mode, it's just way simpler to reach for the book and read because those 15 steps are a really large mental distance for the elephant to want to cross. So I don't have to fight it. The elephant itself gets tired and say, I don't want to go 15 steps, just get the Kindle and read. Boom, I avoided a fight and I'm reading much more and checking my phone way less. Now let's say that you have the goal of losing weight and only eating healthy foods. How would you do that? For that, let's go to my kitchen. Let's go to my refrigerator. If I open it, you'll see that I only have very healthy food. You'll see grapes over there, berries, vegetables, leafy greens, and lean meats. And right next to it, instead of having a pantry full of unhealthy snacks and donuts, I have a bowl of fruit. So when the elephant starts yelling at me, get a chocolate donut, they're awesome, get a donut, it's just much simpler to take a mandarin orange and eat it. So to recap, you can think of your mind as being composed of an elephant and a rider. The rider, your conscious mind, has some limited control over the elephant. So you'll be able to direct it in certain situations, but as soon as the elephant gets distracted by a stimulus that gets his attention, it's going to be very difficult for the rider to whip the elephant back on track. And if it does, he will spend a lot of energy doing it. So the way that you're in a better position to achieve your goals is by making the thing that you don't want the elephant to do require more energy than the thing that you actually want the elephant to do. So when the elephant gets distracted and starts thinking about pursuing that stimulus, it will say, that's like a lot of a big walk and it's uphill, I'll just stick to going to where the rider wants to go. So in your life, strive to develop systems so that you don't have to fight the elephant head on. Avoid the fights, save your energy for the ones that you actually need to fight, and that way, not only will you be able to better achieve your goals, you'll have a much more pleasurable time because you will not be fighting with your unconscious every day. If you found this video helpful and love the elephant footage, feel free to fire this link to other people that you care about so they can also benefit from it. And if you found this interesting, I'd be honored if you consider subscribing and joining the Life Frameworks Tribe so that all of us together can continue to build and refine frameworks that will allow us to have a better and happier life. I'm really excited to see you in the next video. And remember, build systems so that you don't have to fight the elephant head on unless you absolutely have to.